Every human being carries within them a world unseen, a world older than memory, deeper than thought, and shared by all who have ever lived. Carl Jung called this world the collective unconscious, the hidden mind of humanity. It is not a fantasy or a poetic metaphor. It is a living reality that shapes our dreams, our myths, our fears, and our hopes. It is an invisible ocean beneath the surface of consciousness, and every human mind is a wave upon it. When you look at the stars, when you feel awe before nature, when you sense meaning in a dream, you are touching that hidden ocean. You are remembering something ancient, something eternal. In this journey, we will explore the collective unconscious in depth, its origins, its symbols, its shadows, and its power to transform the human spirit. This is not a lecture. It is a meditation, a slow descent into the soul of humanity. Take a deep breath. Let the noise of the world fade. We begin. Jung believed that the human psyche is layered like the earth itself. At the surface lies the conscious mind, the part that reasons, plans, and perceives. It is the daylight of awareness, the part of us that says, I. Beneath it lies the personal unconscious, where forgotten memories, repressed emotions, and hidden desires live. This is the twilight zone of the mind, where the past still breathes. But deeper still, beyond the personal, lies something vast and impersonal, the collective unconscious. It is not built from your life or mine. It is inherited, ancient, and universal. It contains the psychic patterns that shape all human experience. Jung described it as the psychological DNA of humanity. Just as our bodies carry the genetic memory of evolution, our minds carry the symbolic memory of the human race. Every culture, every religion, every story ever told springs from this shared source. It is the well from which all human meaning flows. Within the collective unconscious live the archetypes, universal images and patterns that guide our thoughts and emotions. They are not literal figures, but living energies that express themselves through myth, art, and dream. The hero, who ventures into darkness to find light. The mother, who nurtures and protects. The shadow, who hides what we fear to face. The wise old man, who offers guidance from beyond reason. The anima and animus, the inner feminine and masculine energies that seek balance within us. These archetypes are not invented. They are discovered. They appear in every culture, every age, every story. From ancient myths to modern films, they speak the same language of the soul. When you dream of falling, of flying, of being chased, or of finding light in darkness, you are not just dreaming your own story. You are dreaming the story of humanity. Each archetype carries both light and shadow. The hero can become the tyrant. The mother can become the devourer. The wise man can become the manipulator. The shadow can become the teacher. To understand the archetypes is to understand the forces that move within us all. The collective unconscious does not speak in words. It speaks in symbols, images that carry meaning beyond logic. A serpent, a tree, a river, a mountain. These are not just objects. They are ancient symbols that represent transformation, life, and the journey of the soul. Jung believed that myths are the dreams of entire civilizations. They are the psyche of humanity expressing itself through story. When we read myths, we are reading the language of the unconscious mind, the flood that cleanses the world, the hero who dies and is reborn, the descent into darkness and the return to light. These are not just tales. They are reflections of our inner evolution. Every symbol is a bridge between the conscious and the unconscious. When we understand a symbol, we awaken a part of ourselves that was asleep. But the collective unconscious is not only light. It also contains a collective shadow, the repressed darkness of humanity. War, greed, hatred, and fear are not just social problems. They are expressions of the unintegrated shadow of the human race. When we deny our own darkness, it manifests in the world around us. When societies repress truth, the shadow emerges as conflict and chaos. Jung warned that humanity's greatest danger is not external. It is internal. The shadow we refuse to face becomes a monster we fear. To heal the world, we must first heal the psyche. To confront the collective shadow, we must begin with our own. This is why Jung said, "The world will ask you who you are, and if you do not know, the world will tell you." If we do not know our shadow, it will define us. Dreams are the bridge between the conscious and the unconscious. They are messages from the depths, written in the language of symbol and emotion. Jung encouraged people to record their dreams, to study their images, and to listen to their meaning. A dream of water may speak of emotion. A dream of death may speak of transformation. A dream of flight may reveal the soul's longing for freedom. Through dreams, the collective unconscious whispers to us, guiding us toward wholeness. Dreams are not random. They are the psyche's way of restoring balance. When the conscious mind becomes rigid, the unconscious sends dreams to correct it. To ignore your dreams is to ignore the voice of your own soul. The goal of Jungian psychology is not perfection. It is individuation. Individuation is the process of becoming whole, of integrating the conscious and unconscious parts of self. It is the journey of the hero within, to face the shadow, to embrace the anima or animus, to unite opposites, and to awaken the self, the center of the psyche. This journey is not easy. It requires honesty, courage, and surrender. But through it, we discover our true nature, not as isolated beings, but as expressions of the collective soul of humanity. Individuation is not about becoming special. It is about becoming real. It is about remembering that the divine and the human are not separate. They are reflections of one another. In our modern age, we have forgotten the language of the soul. We live surrounded by technology, yet starve for meaning. We chase distraction, yet avoid reflection. But the collective unconscious has not disappeared. It still speaks through art, music, and dreams. It calls us to remember who we are, to reconnect with the ancient wisdom that lives within us. When we ignore it, we feel lost. When we listen, we awaken. The anxiety, depression, and emptiness of modern life are not signs of failure. They are symptoms of disconnection from nature, from meaning, from the unconscious. To heal, we must return to the inner world. We must learn again to dream, to imagine, to feel. The collective unconscious reminds us that we are not separate. Beneath our differences of race, culture, and belief, we share the same inner patterns, the same fears, the same hopes, the same longing for meaning. We are one mind, dreaming through billions of lives. To harm another is to harm ourselves. To awaken within is to awaken the world. When you look into another person's eyes, you're looking into the same ancient consciousness that lives within you. The same light, the same darkness, the same eternal mystery. Think for a moment about how far back human memory goes. Not your memory, not mine, but the memory of our species. Before there were books, before there were cities, before there were even words, our ancestors looked up at the stars and felt something stir inside them. That feeling, the awe, the fear, the wonder, was the beginning of the collective unconscious. It was the first whisper of meaning, the first spark of awareness that said, "There is something greater than me." Every generation since then has added to that invisible inheritance. When a mother told her child a story by the fire, when a tribe painted symbols on a cave wall, when a shaman dreamed of spirits and transformation, all of that became part of the great memory of humankind. You and I carry that memory within us. It's not written in words or stored in the brain like data. It lives in the soul, in the deep layers of the psyche. It's why certain symbols feel familiar, even if we've never seen them before. It's why myths from opposite sides of the world tell the same stories. The collective unconscious is the soul's history book, and every one of us is a living page in that book. Now, let's talk about something Jung called the self. Not the self you think of when you say me. Not your name, your job, or your personality. The self is much deeper. It's the center of your entire being. Imagine your mind as a vast circle. At the edge is your conscious mind, the part that thinks, plans, and reacts. But at the center, glowing quietly, is the self. It's a part of you that knows who you truly are, even when you forget. The self is like a compass. It doesn't shout. It doesn't demand. It simply points you toward wholeness. When you feel lost, when life feels meaningless, it's often because you've drifted away from that center. The journey of life, Jung said, is about returning to it, about becoming who you were always meant to be. The self is not just personal, It's universal. It connects you to the collective unconscious, to the same center that exists in every human being. When you find your center, you find your connection to all of humanity. Inside each of us lives a hidden counterpart. If you are a man, there is a feminine energy within you, the anima. If you are a woman, there is a masculine energy, the animus. These are not about gender or roles. They are about balance. The anima brings emotion, intuition, and empathy. The animus brings logic, strength, and clarity. When these energies are out of balance, we feel incomplete. A man who rejects his anima may become cold or disconnected. A woman who rejects her animus may feel powerless or uncertain. But when we embrace both, we become whole. We think and feel. We act and reflect. We love and understand. In dreams, these energies often appear as lovers, guides, or even enemies. They challenge us to integrate what we've denied. When you meet someone who awakens something deep in you, that spark, that fascination, it may be your anima or animus calling you to grow. Every great story you've ever loved follows the same pattern. A hero leaves home, faces trials, descends into darkness, and returns transformed. This is not just a story. It's a map of the soul. It's the journey of individuation, the process of becoming whole. When you face your fears, when you lose something precious, when you fall and rise again, you are living your own hero's journey. The dragon you fight is your shadow. The treasure you find is your true self. And the return home is the moment you realize that everything you sought was within you all along. The collective unconscious gives us the story because it's the story of life itself. Every human being, in every age, walks the same path in their own way. Religion, Jung said, is humanity's oldest language for the unconscious. Before psychology, before science, people used myth to understand the soul. The gods and goddesses of ancient times were not just deities. They were symbols of inner forces. Zeus represented authority. Athena represented wisdom. Dionysus represented ecstasy and chaos. When we read these myths today, we are not reading old stories. We are reading the language of the psyche. Religion, at its best, connects us to the mystery within. At its worst, it becomes rigid and loses its symbolic power. Jung believed that when religion loses its soul, people turn to ideology, addiction, or distraction to fill the void. But when we rediscover the symbolic meaning behind faith, we reconnect with the living unconscious that gave birth to it. Art is the voice of the unconscious made visible. When an artist paints, writes, or composes, they are translating symbols from the depths of the psyche into form. That's why great art feels timeless. It speaks to something universal in us. It bypasses logic and touches the soul directly. Jung himself painted his dreams in what he called the Red Book. He didn't paint to impress anyone. He painted to understand himself. When you create, you are in dialogue with the unconscious. You are giving shape to what cannot be spoken. That's why creativity feels sacred. It's the soul expressing itself through you. Every night, when you close your eyes, you step into the world of the unconscious. Dreams are not random. They are messages. They are the psyche's way of speaking to you in symbols. A dream of water may speak of emotion. A dream of death may speak of transformation. A dream of flight may reveal your longing for freedom. Jung encouraged people to write down their dreams, to treat them as letters from the soul. When you take your dreams seriously, you begin to see patterns, symbols, and guidance. You realize that your unconscious is not your enemy. It's your oldest friend. Jung discovered that people across cultures draw similar circular patterns in art and dreams. He called them mandalas, symbols of wholeness. The mandala represents the self, the center of the psyche. It is a union of opposites, the harmony of chaos and order. When you draw or meditate on a mandala, you are aligning with your inner center. You are reminding yourself that even in confusion, there's a deeper order guiding you. The mandala is not just a symbol. It's an experience of balance. The collective unconscious doesn't just live in individuals. It lives in societies. Nations, movements, and cultures have their own collective psyches. When a society represses truth, Its shadow emerges as conflict. When it honors its myths and values, it thrives. Jung warned that modern civilization, obsessed with reason and progress, was losing its connection to the soul. He saw that when people forget their inner life, they project their darkness onto others. The wars, divisions, and crises we see in the world are reflections of the collective shadow. To heal the world, we must first heal the psyche. Jung cautioned us about becoming possessed by archetypes. When we identify too strongly with a role, we lose our individuality. A leader who believes he is a savior may become a tyrant. A follower who worships a teacher may lose their own wisdom. The goal is not to become an archetype, but to integrate it consciously. You can embody the hero without becoming arrogant. You can channel the mother without losing yourself in others. You can listen to the wise old man without silencing your own voice. Awareness is the key. When you recognize an archetype at work, you reclaim your power from it. Love is one of the most mysterious forces in life. When we fall in love, we often project our inner image, the anima or animus, onto another person. That's why love feels magical at first. We see in the other what we've lost in ourselves. But when the projection fades, we must learn to love the real person, not the image we created. True love begins when projection ends. It's when two whole beings meet, not two incomplete halves. Love, in Jung's view, is one of the greatest teachers. It reveals our wounds, our desires, and our capacity for transformation. Jung saw death not as an end, but as a transformation. He believed that the psyche continues beyond physical life, merging again with the collective unconscious. Dreams of death often symbolize rebirth. The setting sun is not extinction, it is renewal. When we face death, we are reminded of our connection to eternity. We realize that life and death are not opposites. They are partners in the same dance. To accept death is to live fully. To deny it is to live half asleep. Light and darkness are the oldest symbols known to humanity. They appear in every story, every religion, every dream. Light represents consciousness, awareness, and truth. Darkness represents the unconscious, mystery, and potential. But Jung taught something profound. Light and darkness are not enemies. They are partners. Without darkness, light has no meaning. Without shadow, there is no depth. Think about your own life. The moments that shaped you most were not the easy ones. They were the times you struggled, the times you fell, the times you faced your own darkness. Those moments force you to grow, to awaken, to see yourself clearly, to become whole. You must not reject your darkness. You must bring light into it. You must walk in the cave of your fears and discover that it holds treasure. The light grows brighter only when it shines into the shadow. That is the essence of transformation. Suffering is one of life's greatest teachers. It strips away illusion and reveals what truly matters. Jung believed that suffering is not punishment. It is initiation. It is a fire that burns away the false self so that the true self can emerge. When you suffer, something deep within you is being reshaped. The ego resists, but the soul understands. Pain opens the door to wisdom. Think of the caterpillar dissolving inside the cocoon. It must lose its old form before it can become the butterfly. So, too, must we dissolve our old identities to awaken to something greater. Suffering is sacred when it is faced consciously. It becomes meaningless only when we run from it. Water is one of the most ancient and powerful symbols in the collective unconscious. It represents emotion, intuition, and the flow of life itself. When you dream of water, you are dreaming of your own depths. A calm lake may reflect peace and clarity. A raging ocean may reveal emotional turmoil. A river may symbolize the passage of time and transformation. To dive into water is to descend into the unconscious. To cross a river is to undergo change. To drown is to be overwhelmed by emotion. Water cleanses, destroys, and renews. It is the eternal symbol of the soul's journey. When you allow yourself to feel deeply, to cry, to grieve, to love, you are immersing yourself in that sacred water. You are letting the unconscious flow through you, washing away what no longer serves you. Jung saw nature as the outer reflection of the inner world. The rhythms of the earth mirror the rhythms of the psyche. When humanity loses touch with nature, it loses touch with the unconscious. The forest, the ocean, the mountain, all are living symbols of the self. When you walk in nature, you are walking within the soul of the world. The whisper of the wind, the sound of rain, the warmth of sunlight, these are not just sensations. They are reminders that you belong to something vast and alive. Modern life often separates us from this truth. We live in cities of noise and light, disconnected from the natural cycles that once guided us. But the collective unconscious still remembers. It calls us back to the earth, back to balance, back to the sacred. To reconnect with nature is to reconnect with the deepest part of yourself. The tree is one of the oldest and most sacred symbols in human history. Its roots reach deep into the earth, while its branches stretch toward the heavens. It unites the underworld, the world, and the divine. In dreams, the tree represents growth, connection, and the unfolding of the self. To climb the tree is to ascend toward consciousness. To fall from it is to lose balance. The tree teaches patience. It grows slowly, silently, year after year. It bends with the wind, but does not break. It gives shelter, fruit, and life. You too are a tree. Your roots are your past, your ancestors, your unconscious. Your branches are your dreams, your hopes, your consciousness. And the trunk, the center, is yourself, holding it all together. To grow, you must reach upward and downward at once, toward light and into depth. Modern psychology often focuses on behavior, cognition, and measurable data. But Jung reminded us that the psyche is more than the brain. It is a living mystery. The collective unconscious bridges psychology and spirituality. It invites us to see the human being not as a machine, but as a soul in evolution. Science can explain how we think, but Jung helps us understand why we dream. Science can measure emotion, but Jung helps us find meaning in it. The modern world needs both, the clarity of science and the wisdom of the soul. Without one, we lose truth. Without the other, we lose meaning. The collective unconscious is the missing link between the two. It reminds us that healing is not just about fixing the mind. It's about awakening the spirit. Fire is a symbol of transformation, passion, and divine energy. It destroys and purifies, consumes and creates. In myths, fire is stolen from the gods and given to humanity. It represents consciousness itself, the spark of awareness. To play with fire is to risk destruction. To master it is to awaken power. Fire is the energy of creation, the force that drives evolution. It is the light of inspiration, the warmth of love, the flame of truth. But fire must be respected. When it burns uncontrolled, it becomes rage, greed, or destruction. When it is tended with care, it becomes illumination. The collective unconscious uses fire as a symbol of awakening. It reminds us that transformation always involves heat, the burning away of what no longer serves us. Jung believed that humanity stands at a crossroads. We have mastered the external world but forgotten the inner one. We can split atoms, travel to the stars, and connect across continents. Yet many feel empty, anxious, and lost. The danger of our age is not ignorance. It is disconnection. We have forgotten the language of the soul. We have silenced the voice of the unconscious. But there is hope. The collective unconscious is not gone. It is waiting. It speaks through art, through dreams, through the quiet moments when we listen. The future of humanity depends on our willingness to turn inward, to face our shadow, to honor our symbols, to remember our shared soul. If we can do that, we may awaken a new consciousness, one that unites reason and intuition, science and spirit, self and world. The collective unconscious is not just our past. It is our potential. It is the seed of the next stage of human evolution. And that evolution begins not in the stars, but in the depths of the human heart. In those depths, we find the courage to transform, the empathy to connect, and the wisdom to guide us forward. As we embark on this journey, we must cultivate a sense of wonder and curiosity, for they are the keys to unlocking the mysteries that lie within us and around us. Imagine a world where each person acknowledges their inner light and shares it with others, creating a tapestry of hope and understanding. In such a world, differences are celebrated, not feared, and collaboration becomes a driving force of progress. This new era calls for storytellers, dreamers, and visionaries, those who dare to imagine what could be and inspire others to join them in making a reality. Together, we can bridge the gap between what is and what could be, crafting a future that honors the past while embracing the limitless potential of the human spirit. The collective unconscious is the hidden mind of humanity. It is the memory of all who have lived, the dream of all who will be. It is the bridge between the personal and the eternal. To know it is to know yourself. To awaken to it is to awaken to the whole of life. Carl Jung once said, "Until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life and you will call it fate." The journey of consciousness is the journey of freedom. Look within. Listen deeply. The universe is speaking through you. It whispers the secrets of the ages, inviting you to explore the vast landscapes of your inner world. As you embark on this journey, you begin to understand that the stories and symbols of the collective unconscious are woven into the fabric of your being, guiding you toward a deeper understanding of yourself and your place in the cosmos. Embrace the archetypes that emerge in the shadows, for they are the keys to unlocking the mysteries of your soul. In every myth and legend, in every dream and vision, there lies a piece of the puzzle that is your true self. By engaging with these symbols, you tap into a wellspring of wisdom that transcends time and space. As you continue to listen, you'll find that the universe speaks not only in whispers, but also in the vibrant language of synchronicity. These meaningful coincidences are signposts along your path, encouraging you to trust in the unfolding of your unique story. In this dance between the conscious and the unconscious, between the personal and the universal, you will discover profound interconnectedness of all life. The tapestry of existence is rich with meaning and possibility, and as you weave your own thread into its design, you contribute to the ongoing evolution of human consciousness. And so, the journey inward becomes the greatest adventure of all. The collective unconscious is not a distant concept. It is alive within you, breathing through your thoughts, shaping your dreams, guiding your choices in ways you may never fully see. Every fear you face, every symbol that stirs your heart, every moment of awe or sorrow is a doorway into that vast inner world. When you dare to enter it, you discover that the boundaries between you and the universe begin to dissolve. You are not a separate being adrift in chaos. You are part of an ancient intelligence that has been unfolding since the dawn of time. To live with this awareness is to live with reverence. It is to see meaning in every encounter, to recognize the sacred in the ordinary, and understand that your life is a thread in the great tapestry of existence. The collective unconscious is not just humanity's memory. It is humanity's promise. It reminds us that beneath all division, we are one mind, one heart, one unfolding story. And as you awaken to that truth, you become both the dreamer and the dream, the question, the answer, the seeker and the light that guides the way home. Embracing this awareness transforms the mundane into the extraordinary, where each moment becomes an opportunity for growth and connection. Every interaction, no matter how small, holds the potential to illuminate new paths and deepen our understanding of ourselves and each other. With this mindset, we cultivate a profound appreciation for the diverse tapestry of life, recognizing the beauty in differences and the strength in unity. As we journey through life with this perspective, we become more attuned to the whispers of intuition and the gentle nudges of inspiration. We learn to trust in the unfolding of our path, knowing that each step is guided by the wisdom of countless generations. This reverence for life encourages us to live with compassion and kindness, to act with integrity, and to contribute to the world in meaningful ways. Ultimately, living with this awareness is a journey of ongoing discovery, where the boundaries between the self and the universe blur, and we realize that we are both the creators and the caretakers of our shared reality. It is an invitation to live fully, to love deeply, and to cherish the interconnected web of life that binds us all. Thank you for listening. Until next time, take care of what is truly yours.